Yep. Inside, I want to kill myself. We are on an 0-7 run over the last 2 days. After tonight was just complete bullshit. So that's how I'm going to start off this show. Horrible Sunday, 1-5. I don't even know what to tell you about that. I just don't want to do this anymore. I've never seen anything like this, man. With the slump continuing, 2 straight losses, not a good day at all. 0-4. I just have not had a good season, man. What can this slump that I'm on? The slump continues. I've reached a new peak, actually. I'm gonna burn my Bruins hat, man. I don't know what is going on with the Bruins. March 8th, is that what it is? I don't even know. It's March 9th, I think. Who even knows, man? I don't know what day it is anymore. I don't even know what day it is anymore, man. Back with you after the worst day that I could possibly have. Back with you, as I always am. Until I die, at least. 0-2 yesterday, and yesterday did not go well for me. 0-5. The worst month that I've ever had in my 18 years doing this. I don't know what to even tell you about this anymore. Broke the slump yesterday as the slump discontinues. The slump continues. Somebody fucking kill me, please. I don't even know what I should do at this point other than potentially end it all. What's up, everybody? It's Toad back with you. This is Thursday. Bettor Off Dead, July 31st, the end of July. The end of a not very good July. I believe it's a down July for me because I am still tracking everything, even though, like I said, I have not been actually betting at these games for now, at least, but I am giving out what I would be betting anyway. Yesterday was a slight loss with 1-1. I apologize to the Milwaukee Brewers, that play. That was a loss. I mean, got to just take it. I mean, it was you got to take it, man. It was at least an easier one to take because that was just dead right away. So whatever. Both games were done in the afternoon, and then an easy win on the under in Pittsburgh, San Francisco. I mean, that game was, I think, 1-1 into the 8th or 9th inning there. It's like, okay, even if this game goes into extra innings, it's pretty unlikely that thing's going to go over the 7.5. So that was a winner. I will give out one MLB play today, actually, even though it's a very short card, a very short board today. We have 3 baseball games. We have 1 WNBA game, and we have the NFL preseason beginning. As last Thursday was the last Thursday without football until whenever, man, until February, I guess, or no, not February, January, I guess, whenever the NFL gets into the playoffs and we no longer have Thursday games anymore. That's crazy. We're going to have a lot of football. I don't do a whole lot with the preseason, but I will talk about this particular game. I mean, I think there might be an angle or two to maybe work with in that game. I'm not going to give out a play on it because I am not that much of a masochist, but we'll start with the WNBA. Golden State at Washington is the only game here today. Golden State, of course, I gave them out as a play 2 days ago, and they pulled off the big upset against the Atlanta Dream. So I think they're in kind of a letdown spot here, man. I believe they're playing a 3rd straight road game now. They are already on the East Coast here, but they're having to come off that big win, upset win over Atlanta, which I was correct about on the show, by the way. And now they have to go to Washington. This is not that easy of a spot, in my opinion, for Golden State. So I would lean to Washington somewhat in this game. Washington staying at home, coming off an easy win over the really bad Chicago Sky, which I saw one highlight from that game. More of a low light with Angel Reese basically driving to the basket. She basically had a shore layup and just completely missed the basket. I'm like, this is just insane, dude. That's what you get with, so you have that and you have dildos being thrown on the court in Golden State, Atlanta. WNBA, man, it's there's no way this league would exist if it wasn't being propped up by special interests, man. I would have to imagine. But yeah, I would lean to Washington in this game. All that being said, Washington up from 3.5 to 4 here. Not a huge line to have to lay, really, if you like them. I think it's a little bit misleading, really. I think public might look at that and think, oh my God, Golden State just won their last game against a good team. And you look at their records are very similar. Almost seems like it would be kind of easy to take the points with Golden State, but that is not what I would look to do here. Washington, by the way, is way better at home, 9-5. Valkyries only 4-9 on the road. So even though I know I played them on the road or gave them out as a play last time, but Let's go to MLB. This is the rundown, I guess, the short rundown. I'm going to skip the first game because I'm going to give out a play in the first game, which is the afternoon game between the Yankees and the Rays. They're actually finishing their series. And then we have two night games, Atlanta and Cincinnati and Texas, Seattle. Those teams are starting new series here. So Atlanta and Cincinnati. Cincinnati does have a travel edge because they're just staying at home, but they are coming off beating the Dodgers. Both teams have similar bullpen usage after yesterday, so I think the bullpens are kind of a wash. They're both kind of mediocre bullpens anyway. But Cincinnati could be in a little bit of a letdown spot after beating the Dodgers. But again, they're not traveling. Atlanta is traveling in from Kansas City, so Atlanta does have travel here. Not too much travel, though. Just kind of staying in the Midwest area, basically. So bullpens, I think, are a wash. Travel spot probably in favor of Cincinnati. Probably going to give Cincinnati the offensive edge, as Atlanta's offense just really has not come together at all. And I like Cincinnati's starting pitcher better, so I guess we have to do with all that information what we can here. Zach, what's up, man? Fuck the Yankees is right. Bullshit that they won last night, man. I'm not a fan of that. It looked like they were going to lose the game, I'm pretty sure. They won in dramatic fashion, which is something to take into account today, but I might be still kind of going against that type of thought there. Yeah, the Royals, the most elite offense in MLB history, obviously. Atlanta has Carlos Carrasco pitching today, and I forgot this guy existed. I think he's been hurt. I think he did pitch at the beginning of the season. He's been injured since then. I didn't even know what team he was on, to be honest. I thought maybe he'd retired. 5.91 ERA this year, 1.53 whip. He was not pitching well when he was pitching. He was way worse on the road, too, with a 9.26 ERA on the road. Terrible. I guess he has been on Atlanta, but I completely forgot because he hasn't pitched since the beginning of May. I'm assuming he's been injured because I don't think he's a guy that they would just take out of the starting rotation just because he has so much of a career behind him. It's not really something that you do. I mean, maybe, I guess you might send him to the minors, maybe, but probably unlikely, really, especially with the Braves not really being a good team anyway and having starting pitching injuries. Yes, Carlos Carrasco has been on the Indians, the Mets, I forget where else. He's been around, man. Actually, it's just those two teams. And then I guess he went back to the Indians. I'm still going to call them the Indians. He was back with them last year. I forgot he went back to them. Yeah, but he's just not a very good pitcher. I mean, he's had a long career, so he's a serviceable pitcher. He's more of a control pitcher. He doesn't blow guys away, but he's towards the end of his career. He's in his late 30s, up against, who are we talking about here? Cincinnati. He probably doesn't have that much track record against them because they're in the National League. Well, he was on the Mets, though, and he was on Cleveland. Cincinnati's their natural rival, but yeah, only 14 at-bats against Cincinnati. They are 6 for 14 off him with a Fraley home run, though, and a walk and 2 strikeouts. 429 batting average, 1,181 OPS. So Carrasco, I'm not expecting a whole lot from him, man, even though a lot of times if you have a veteran that come back, they get pumped up to pitch in a game, but I'm not so sure it's going to go too well for him here, man. I mean, I think he's well beyond his years, and his numbers don't look good against Cincinnati. He's up against Cincinnati's ace, Andrew Abbott, who's been really good this year. 2.09 ERA, 1.07 whip. He's been really good at home, despite the hitter-friendly nature of this ballpark. 1.93 ERA at home. He's pitching well this month, even though he had the All-Star game distraction come in there and pitched in the All-Star game. He's continuing to pitch well. He's allowed 2 or fewer earned runs in his last 3 starts, and in almost all of his most recent starts, actually. Last month, he allowed 1 or fewer in 4 of his 5 starts. So only 2 starts within that span as he allowed more than 2 earned runs. This month, 19-6 strikeout walk ratio, 3.13 ERA, including starts on the road against Philadelphia and the Mets. So not easy opponents to face on the road. He's pitching well. Going up against the Atlanta Braves here, he has 19 at-bats against them, 7 strikeouts, no walks. Pretty good numbers here, 263 batting average, 579 OPS. So quite obviously, you have to give Andrew Abbott the edge here as far as the starting pitching is concerned. Cincinnati's moved up from -155 to -163. So it looks like maybe some of the money is indeed coming in on Cincinnati. I would hesitate to really do that, though. I mean, I would lean to Cincinnati because I do think they have a big starting pitching edge. Maybe like a run line in the first 5 innings, but it seems like a bit too much of a price here. I mean, given that they are still kind of in a letdown spot off of beating the Dodgers, I wouldn't quite want to do it. But, the bullpen situation kind of a wash, and I think Cincinnati's offense is actually better. So Cincinnati does have some edges there. Texas at Seattle, the later game tonight. Seattle returning home from a road trip, although they stayed on the Pacific Coast, so they don't have to adjust to a new time zone. And they actually split the series with Anaheim and then lost the series at the A's, so they actually lost their road trip there. Seattle, of course, making news again because they just traded for Eugenio Suarez, or however you pronounce his name, Eugenio Suarez. Dude, it just seems like Seattle and Arizona are colluding at this point. Like, how could the two biggest trades that have happened, how could they both involve Seattle getting big-name players? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. So Seattle now has Suarez and Naylor from Arizona. Seattle's really going for it this year, man. So they are. I don't know if Suarez is going to be there yet, though. My guess is he's probably not going to be in the lineup tonight because it's a quick turnaround time. He's got to get there and, join the team and whatever. Seattle's also in a bad spot, though, because they're returning home from a road trip, as I always say. Even though they're not switching time zones, it could be a bit of a distraction when you come back home. So I don't love the spot for Seattle. Texas is staying on the road, and they're staying on the Pacific Coast, too, as they're also traveling up the Pacific Coast from California. They were just in Anaheim. Texas won yesterday at Anaheim. Texas has the better bullpen out of these two teams. Seattle obviously has the better offense, although their offense is worse at home, but it is a pitcher-friendly ballpark. So then you have to figure out what we're going to do about the starting pitching matchup, if anything. Kumar Rocker, the only Indian Major League Baseball player, seems like he should be playing cricket, is pitching for the Rangers here. He's been really up and down for the Rangers so far. He does have good stuff, so I think he does have a pretty high ceiling, but we will see, man. That diarrhea ball has not taken full effect yet. 5.73 ERA, 1.44 whip, not good numbers on the season. He's been really bad on the road, 9.91 ERA, and allowed 8 of the 9 home runs he's allowed at home in on the road in fewer innings pitched. So he's been way worse on the road. Texas has done fairly well in his recent starts, though, winning 5 of the last 7 of them. This month, he has mediocre numbers still, 4.95 ERA, 16-9 strikeout walk ratio. So I'm still not convinced that he's pitching well right now. I mean, he's walked 3 apiece in each of the last 2 starts. That's not good. Didn't make it 5 innings in 2 of the last 3 starts, so that's not a good sign either. Up against Seattle, I believe he doesn't have good, or no, he does have good numbers. I was wrong. I looked at this morning, and I already forget. 31 at-bats, 12-3 strikeout walk ratio is what he has against Seattle. He's held him to a very low 226 average, but they do have some extra base hits, including a home run from Canzone, 753 OPS. So the OPS is a little bit high against Seattle, but he does do fairly decently against Seattle overall. George Kirby is pitching for Seattle, 4.5 ERA, but a 1.15 whip is really nice. He is starting to turn it around after he's come back from injury. He is better at home, although 4.05 ERA this year is not that terrific, but he's pitching better recently, 3.86 ERA this month. Last month also had an ERA in the 3s. Really nice strikeout walk ratio across basically that entire stretch, 27-7 this month, winning 3 of the 4 starts this month, and his team has won 3 of the 4. Actually, he himself has gotten the win in 3 of 4, so that was correct as well. And last month, Seattle actually did win 4 of his last 5 starts last month. So Seattle is winning behind George Kirby. Kirby against Texas, very weak offense that Texas has. He's done really well against them in a huge 133 at-bat sample size. He's pretty much dominated them. 29-5 strikeout walk ratio, 211 average allowed, 532 OPS. So George Kirby, I think you got to give him the upper hand in the starting pitching matchup here. So all that has to be taken into account. The money line has really shot up on Seattle from -150 to -172. I think that number's too high. I mean, I don't think it's worth it, even though Seattle does have the better offense and the better starter here. Texas still has the better bullpen. I checked the bullpen rest earlier this morning, and I don't think it's that. I think Texas actually is a little bit more rested, actually. So they definitely have the bullpen edge. 71% of tickets, 76% of the cash on Seattle. I wouldn't disagree with that sentiment, but I'm just not so sure that I don't think I would lay a price like that with Seattle. And the total is really low. It's 7.5. It's gone up a little bit to juice to the over, but 80% of the tickets and only 50% of the cash on the over. But I don't know that I would trust Rocker, man, to keep this thing under the total either. So it's not going to be a play for me there. Nancy Pelosi did that. Did she actually call George Floyd George Kirby? Really? Is she a baseball watcher? I mean, I have no idea, man. I don't remember that. That's crazy. Let's go to the best bet here. We're going to get out of here in short order here, but I am going to talk about the NFL game as well. I'm not going to talk about NFL preseason a whole lot on the show. I don't really do it, but the best bet first is going to be the first 5 innings. Tampa Bay Rays, man. It looks like the money is agreeing with this. Yankees down from -115 to -105. 60% of the tickets, 81% of the cash on the Rays. So the money is kind of coming in on the Rays here. I'm just focusing on the starting pitching matchup here. I think the Rays do have an advantage. The Rays used a lot of their bullpen last night, so I don't want to deal with that. The Rays trying to even up this series. It was a tough loss for them, man. 11 innings. They had the lead in the 9th inning. They blew it. They had the lead in the 10th inning. They blew it, and then they lost in the 11th inning. Absolutely terrible. Yeah, I agree that maybe Tampa Bay's mental state won't be that great after a loss like that, but it's still the Yankees. I think they're still going to be focused here. Tampa used way more of their bullpen yesterday, so that's why I'm a little bit worried. I'm worried about both bullpens, really, because the Yankees don't really have that good of a bullpen. Tampa's is decent, but the rest scenario looks really bad for Tampa's bullpen. So I'm just going to limit this to first 5 innings here. Yes, the Yankees have the better offense, but the starting pitching matchup definitely is an advantage to Tampa, man. To the point where you can get the Yankees almost at an underdog price, almost at home in the first 5 innings, which that just looks really crazy. To me, I think the public is basically going to be back on the Yankee train after last night, more or less, and I think they're going to see a short price like that, and I think it makes sense to take the name team like the Yankees. But I actually like Ryan Pepiot, man, as I keep saying. 3.42 ERA, 1.15 whip for Tampa this year. He's been a little bit better on the road, 3.35 ERA, although I know this is a tough Yankee lineup, a tough stadium to pitch in. This month he's been pretty good, 3.60 ERA, 32-12 strikeout walk ratio. Yeah, it's too many walks. 7 home runs allowed is bad as well, so he's been getting hit by the long ball. That's been his one major issue, though. The walks haven't been that much of an issue this year. It's the long ball. 21 home runs allowed this year, so that is a problem. So we do have to worry about that a little bit. He's been okay against the Yankees this year, but I'll show you his historical numbers in a minute. He had 1 6-inning start at Steinbrenner Field against the Yankees, so that was a good sign because that's a similar stadium to this one. He went 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, held him to 3 earned runs, so he did allow 2 home runs in that one. He was home run free in the one game he pitched here, but he didn't make it out of the 5th inning, and he allowed 2 runs and only had 1 strikeout in that one. It was not the greatest start for him, although it wasn't really that terrible, but I think we're going to get a bounce back here. I know Tampa's lost his last 4 starts, but he's only allowed more than 3 earned run in one of those starts, so it really hasn't been his fault. He's got 6 innings in every single one of them. We just need to get him to get us through 5 here, and his numbers against the Yankees bats are actually better than you would think. 59 at bats, 14-4 strikeout walk ratio. Of course, remember, Judge is still out now, so Judge was in the lineup for those other games. Judge might be somebody who does do damage against Pepiot. He's out of the lineup right now because he's injured. 14-4 strikeout walk ratio for Pepiot against this current lineup. 186 batting average allowed, 577 OPS. So actually really good numbers for Pepiot against this lineup. So I like that. Andrew, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. And on the other side of things, Marcus Stroman, I think, is quite clearly the worst of these two pitchers, man. 6.09 ERA, 1.59 whip. Very bad numbers for the Yankees. He's been even worse at home, 7.11 ERA at home. And he's already allowed 4 home runs at home and 12 walks in 19 innings at home so far. He's been really bad at home. Last start was at home against Philly, and he was awful. 3 2/3 innings, 4 earned runs, allowed 4 walks. he's been bad overall, man. He's come back from injury recently. He came back at the end of June. Even his start at the end of June, even though he only allowed 1 run in 5 innings to the A's, he only had 1 strikeout, so that's not a good sign. And then this month, he has a 4.58 ERA, which is very mediocre, and 15-7 strikeout walk ratio, which is not very good either. Only the last start, he failed to go 5 innings. So he's made it 5 innings in the other 3, so he wasn't awful in those other 3 starts, but he's not in good form right now. He's not a very good pitcher anyway, man, in my opinion. He's been just kind of a back end of the rotation type of guy for the Yankees, and his numbers against the Rays are pretty bad. In 58 at-bats, they hit him well. 11 strikeouts to 5 walks. That's not a great ratio for Stroman. Fortes and Lowe both have home runs off him. He's allowed a .310 average and .848 OPS. So Stroman has not done well against Tampa. So I'm going to go with it with the first 5-inning matchup there. Tampa Bay, money line. That's going to be my only play of the day. And now let's finish it off, man, by going to talk about the NFL. I know it's August. I mean, it's not even August yet. It's still July, and we have an NFL game today. And this line is already dropped, by the way. It's Chargers-Lions playing in the Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio here. Lions had flipped from +1 at the opener to -1.5, but they were actually at -2.5 when I looked this morning, and some money must have come in on the Chargers to drop it all the way back down to 1.5. And I agree with that move. I think the Chargers are the right side in this game. 54% of tickets, only 52% of the cash on the Lions. The Lions, I mean, based on what they did last year, the fact that everybody knows the Lions have that really prolific offense, they were a very public team this past year, and we know the public likes the Lions, so that's where they're going to go here. But the Chargers, they play this ugly style of ball control offense under Harbaugh, so the public doesn't like the Chargers, basically. So I think we're going to find a decent amount of value on the Chargers this year. And I actually think it starts here because, of course, the public thinking, oh, the Lions are this great offensive team. Well, this is the first game of preseason, man. You know the starters are not going to play in this game. So you have to look at the backups. So for week 1 of the preseason, a lot of what you want to look at, even though I'm not really a preseason NFL bettor, but a lot of what you want to look at in the first week is you want to look for the teams that actually have the more experienced quarterbacks that are going to be in the mix or the better quarterback depth. That's really what you want to look for. And those are the types of teams I think you kind of want to play on in the first week of the because it's hard to predict what else is going to happen with, the backup defenses and the backup, the other players on the offense or whatever. But the quarterbacks are actually a little bit more predictable. You kind of know what the quarterback rotation is going to look like for these teams. So that's kind of what you have to look at. The total in this game is also ridiculously low. It's up from 32 to 34, 69% of the tickets and 67% of the cash on the over. It looks like a very low total, which it is for the NFL, but this Hall of Fame game is notoriously low scoring because it's the first game of preseason, man. The offenses, you're going to have backup offensive players in there. The offenses haven't even really learned the schemes yet necessarily. So, and a lot of times the offenses are going to want to just keep themselves vanilla because they don't want to show what they're actually going to try during the regular season. So a lot of things come into play that lead these games to be really low scoring, although that total is so low that I probably would not go under that total. And it's already moved up a little bit. But I think the best way to play this is actually the Chargers. The Lions, by the way, I believe they replaced both of their coordinators, so that could be an issue this year, even though they still have Dan Campbell there. I think they have a new offensive and defensive coordinator this year, which is kind of crazy for a team that's on the rise like that to make a huge change in staffing like that. It seems very weird to me, but that means they're going to have to learn these new systems, so they're not going to have learned them yet, whereas the Chargers, this is going to be their second year under Harbaugh, so they have guys who have kind of learned that system. So I think that's a factor that helps the Chargers as well. I know the location helps Detroit because, of course, Ohio, pretty close to Detroit, and you're going to get Detroit fans, Lions fans, probably in the stadium for this. But even so, I mean, I don't think you're going to see a lot of people even in the stands for this game, to be honest, man. So I don't think that factor is going to be huge at all. And I think the Chargers, one of the main things we have going on here is their quarterback rotation is actually better for this game. So they have Justin Herbert obviously is not going to play, But they have Taylor Heineke, who's an NFL veteran, and they have Trey Lance, who it looks like Lance is actually going to get most of the reps in this game. I think Lance is going to start, and then we're probably going to see Heineke, and we might see Ukulele in there as well. I don't like Ukulele at all. I mean, I've made fun of him for a while. Man, he was just really, really bad in college after he tried to step up in class to play at like Clemson. I'm not a fan of Ukulele, but I don't think we're going to see that much of him in this game. So he's inexperienced at the NFL level as well. But Trey Lance, of course, we know he's made NFL starts before. He was in the mix for the 49ers for a while, so he's been around. I think he's going to get the majority of the reps here for the Chargers, it looks like. And Heineke's going to be in the mix as well because they're battling for that backup spot. And Heineke, like I said, is a longtime NFL veteran. So I actually think the Chargers' quarterback depth here is way better than Detroit's quarterback depth. Detroit, obviously, it's all about Jared Goff. Obviously, he's not going to play in this game. So that means you're going to get Hendon Hooker and Kyle Allen in the mix for them. And they don't even have an additional quarterback besides them. So who the hell are they? I don't even know. Hendon Hooker, I guess he went to Tennessee. He was drafted in 2023. He has very little pro experience. Not going to be a fan of the idea of relying on him. And then Kyle Allen, he's been around for a bit. He actually does have some pro experience, but he's not Josh Allen, man. He has limited pro experience. So he did play a little bit last year, I guess, but he's been around for a while. That's right. He went to Houston. I actually do remember that now. It's been a while though. So he's their only like really experienced quarterback, but I would take Heineke and Trey Lance over the mix of Hooker and Allen any day of the week, man. And I'm not referring to Josh Allen and what the hell is his wife's name there? Haley Steinfeld, not Steinbrenner, Steinfeld. She's hot though. But that's not Hooker and Allen. But anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on the NFL game there. If you want some action on that, I think the Chargers are actually worth a look in that game. For those reasons, the quarterback depth, and that's actually going to do it for me, man. Hard RR, what's up, man? Thanks for hanging out. The 69ers, yeah, that's a different league, man. They should have that in the women's football league. I don't know if you've seen that thing. I don't even know if it's still around, but the women play football. They tackle each other, and they're like scantily clad. It's pretty hot. Anyway, that's going to do it, man. The one play today, again, very, very short board all across the board here, but I am seeing that there's an angle here on Tampa Bay Rays in baseball in the first 5 innings. So we'll have one afternoon play today, and that's it. That's going to do it. Short play. I like these days, man, because I can kind of focus, get it done, hammer it out, jerk off a little bit. Short video. We're done. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Learn to Toad on Twitter. Learn to Toad on Instagram. I post betting content out there as well. Bettor Off Dead. Obviously, you're here on YouTube with me. Follow me here. Like, subscribe. Comment, interact with me, share it around. It's also on the audio platforms. Bettor Off Dead is out there. And I have Covered in Uke, my ukulele project, YouTube, which basically mirrors the stuff that I put out on Twitter. And then I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/learntotode. You could throw me some support there, and you get some bonus Uke content. You get a Spotify feed at one of the levels and requests at another one of the levels. That's going to do it. Happy Thursday, everybody. Let's get a win on this one today, especially because it factors into my actual biases too. But that's not the reason why I'm doing it. Peace, everybody. Have a good one today.